Hi guys, we are starting our second to last lesson this morning. I am the True Vine, part of our I Am series. I'm glad you're joining me today. So as always with our lessons, we want to go through our highs and our lows. My high, it's a little bit early, so I'm going to say a high from last night is that I got to go on a very nice walk. And my low is that I am very tired. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So that is my low right now. So let's start off with our Bible verse. We are doing John chapter 15, 1 through 4. And this is out of the International Children's Bible. It's a little bit more inclusive, good for all ages. And our lesson itself is adapted from ministry2children.com, ministry-2-children.com. So check it out if you are looking for resources. They have a lot of good ones. So Jesus says, I am the true vine. My Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch of mine that does not produce fruit. And he trims and cleans every branch that produces fruit, so it will produce even more fruit. You are already clean because of the words I've spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can produce fruit alone. It must remain in the vine. It is the same with you. You cannot produce fruit alone. You must remain in the vine. Now, I am not going to claim to be a good gardener, but I will claim that I try to garden. How about that? So at my old house, we actually had grapevines. We had Concord grapevines, and they smelled wonderful. They smelled like grape jelly, and I loved these grapevines. And originally when we moved in, they were in a spot in the yard that we were not very happy with, and I was really kind of concerned because in order to move these grapevines, and I mean these were big grapevines, they were like this, and there were trunks going up. We actually had to cut them to a plant that was like this. And they were huge before that point. Now, all the parts that we cut off, it didn't live. All of those extra branches, they all died. But the vine itself and its roots, when we moved it to another section of the yard, did just fine. So the vine was strong, and the vine had no problems growing all new branches. And pretty soon, before we knew it, actually the next year, we had a trellis that was almost completely covered with branches and vines. So some of those branches grew really well. Lots of grapes, big clumps of grapes, lots of birds to eat them too. And then other branches were maybe crowded out, or maybe were damaged by the birds hanging on them, or the squirrels, or whatever it may have been. And when that happened, they weren't doing so well. So I would go through and I would cut those branches off. And when I did that, it made more room for the good, healthy branches to grow in that spot. And we again would get our big clumps of grapes. So it was a really cool experience to have. And in this way, it actually helps me to relate to this Bible verse too. Jesus says he is the true vine. Well, the vine, the actual trunk per se of this vine that goes up and is nice and thick all through the trellis, is strong. It's very strong, and that's a wonderful thing. And it grows tons of branches with lots of fruit. But those branches, once they're cut away from the vine, they don't produce fruit anymore. It would be like us. When we're cut off from Jesus, or when we have turned our back on Jesus, we don't do so well ourselves either. So Jesus is always calling for us to come back. And when we do, we get to grow fruit again. Now, what are those fruits that we grow? Some of you may already have a hint on this one. Remember that Fruits of the Spirit lesson that we started back in the beginning of Lent, back before our shelter in place? Those lessons were the fruits of the Spirit. So the fruits of the Spirit, I have it on my computer here, were love, joy, or we did cheerful, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those were our fruits of the Spirit. And I don't know if you guys remember, but you guys planted seeds. And we did go through and talk about some of them, but they've grown even more since then. So if you look, oh, and the names are really hard to see now because there's a lot, they've been watered a lot now. So I believe this was Shiloh. I know, let's see. Shiloh, I think this one was yours. And I think these were mine. And then I'm trying to remember whose these were. I'll remember from an old video. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. But you can see how well they're growing. And our next batch, which was Corbin and Easton and Grayson and, oh, nope. This was Harley. Sorry, Harley, this is you. And Shiloh. And then I threw a couple extra seeds. Look how well these are growing too. We're going to have the most beautiful cherry tomatoes in our church's garden this summer. Looking forward to it. So now that we've talked about the vine being Jesus and how he's so strong and powerful and gives us everything we need so that we can produce the fruits of the Spirit, so that we can grow those seeds in us. And he cuts away anything that's not good, right? So he cuts away the times that we are producing anger, or the times that we are producing, let's say we get jealous, or we get mouthy with our parents, or we just don't listen, we get very stubborn. These are all things that Jesus slowly starts to cut away so that we become more patient and more kind, less stubborn, all of those good things. So our craft for today, I do not really have anything to show you because I don't have these things from the store, but I think you'll have fun with it anyway. I do not own paint, but as it turns out, you can make your own paint. In fact, you can make your own grape smelling paint. So you can take grape Kool-Aid with a little cornstarch and some water, and it will make a grape smelling paint. So take something as simple as the end of a pencil, dip it in your paint, make your grape clusters, green marker, go from there and make some grapevines, and make some beautiful grapevines that you can decorate around the house. Enjoy your craft. I hope you're able to make your Kool-Aid and cornstarch with some water paint. And we will end with prayer and blessing like we always do. So, dear Lord, I pray that everybody who is watching this and everybody who is not able to watch it is able to find peace, to cling to you as you cling to them, and are able to grow the fruits of the Spirit and alleviate some of the anxiety and fear that a lot of us have right now. Blessings to you. Blessings to your parents. Blessings to the kids. Make sure to bless each other. Have a wonderful day.